Hey everyone, it's Sharon with the Trailer Park Homesteader, and today we're going to be talking about security while being hunkered down or bugged out. First thing to mention is that security matters, obviously. And at the top of the article there's a statistic, and it talks about that 1 in 5 families will experience a home invasion, which is typically violent by nature. Just imagine if something was to happen, how high that number is actually going to rise. Everyone that has not prepared is going to most certainly do whatever it takes to come and take from those that have. So having a security plan is going to ensure two very important things. First, because all family members or group members that you may have, they're going to know and have already practiced the plan routinely. If push comes to shove, they're going to be a lot less likely to freeze up in a dangerous situation. Second, and just as important, those who are able will already be experienced and knowledgeable of weapons, and they'll know how to use them when the time comes, if needed. But regardless whether you're planning to hunker down or bug out, you're going to need to find a way to stay safe. So in week 5 we talked about ways to fortify your home, but this week we're talking a little bit more about personal security. So in beginning the discussion on security, we always turn back to planning. Preppers and preparedness-minded people, planning is step 1 basically. We plan for what supplies we need, how to store them, even up to where we would go if something happens. So having a security plan is also very important. And it's just one of those, next steps that a lot of preppers really need to think about. A lot of people amass all these weapons and all this ammunition, but they don't actually have a plan. So having the biggest arsenal is not really going to help you in an emergency situation if you lose your head or don't know what to do and are taken over by fear. So that's why you need a security plan. One thing that I did mention is that not everybody is a bad guy, but never forget there are bad guys out there, and there's going to be a lot more to come. So step 1 to the plan is simply make a security plan. Make sure that you involve all members of your family or your prepper group and let them have input and give ideas or voice concerns that they might have. Also plan for various levels of security that might be needed. For instance, if you're at a location and 1 to 2 people are coming to invade that location, then you know that you can, with the right training, 1 to 2 people from your own group can actually neutralize that threat. Well, what if a whole big group came and were trying to strategically invade? That's obviously going to take more people from your group that need to be, on point and defending your area or location. So make sure you plan for both of these scenarios. A couple of people trying to come in, or a whole group of people. We would suggest that you choose a leader for your group. It could be the head of the household or maybe a person voted on. But that gives everyone somebody to look to for direction. That way there's not more chiefs than there are Indians, because that tends to create a lot of confusion and conflict. So just have those, that in mind when you're starting this plan. That way you'll know who to look to for direction. Step 2 is practicing the plan. When it comes to anything, really, it's very important to practice. Whether it's water filtration, your actual bugging out, to even like the tools and things that you use when you're prepping. That way, when something does happen, you know how to use, what you have. You already have, pardon me, my throat's scratchy today. But you already have, you already have the tools and the knowledge to use whatever it is that you might need to use. So later you're not trying to figure it out and, not having a clue. So this kind of goes for the security planning as well. Make sure everybody knows the plan and run drills so everyone knows their position and their role and what they're expected to do. Now, if you have children that are going to be in your group, make sure that you have already planned for a pre-designated area for them to go to in case of conflict. And I would suggest 1 to 2 adults going with them to keep them safe. It's going to also keep them calm, and they'll be able to have someone there to console them as well, because obviously they're going to be upset. Step 3, use your location to its advantage. No matter what location you choose, you know it best. You know the places to hide for yourself. You know the places that others could hide. You know all the entrances. And you know the locations of direct lines of sight. And that's really a big advantage. A lot of lessons can be taken from military defenses as well, such as like building an LPOP, a listening post observation post. You can use exploiting prevailing weather as a cover. You can also use forced concentration, patrolling, encirclement, and pincer movements. During a SHTF situation, I think that most preppers would agree and also suspect that potentials for groups of people to be, out and about, maybe looting or worse, even if it's just families, out together, trying to look for food or necessities. It's a viable threat, especially if they are in a state of desperation, because desperate people do desperate things. So I included a few articles that might give further tips and help at the bottom of the article. And the first one is from shtfplan.com. It's called Considerations for SHTF Living and Bug Out Locations. The second is the survivalistblog.net, tips for securing your bug in location. And the last one is survivalandbeyond.net. And their article is called 5 Home Invasion Scenarios for Your Family. Your family should train for, excuse me. And these are really great articles that give a lot of detailed information, and I highly suggest you check them out. So, until next time, talk to you later.